Welcome to the shadowy alleys of Whitechapel, London, in the late summer of 1888. A time when the gas lamps flickered against the darkness and whispers of fear echoed through the streets. What if I told you that within these very streets, a figure emerged from the shadows, leaving behind a trail of terror that still captivates and horrifies us today? Who was this figure? He is known only as Jack the Ripper. Here am I. To understand Jack the Ripper, we must first explore Whitechapel itself. This district was a melting pot of poverty and desperation. In 1888, it was home to thousands of impoverished families and a significant number of women who turned to prostitution to survive. Imagine walking through these narrow, dimly lit streets. The air is thick with tension and uncertainty. Every corner could hide a predator. Now let's meet the first victim whose life was tragically cut short. On April 3rd, 1888, Emma Elizabeth Smith, a 45-year-old woman, was brutally attacked in these very alleys. She suffered horrific injuries and later died from peritonitis. Interestingly, her death received little attention from the press or police at the time. And why do you think that was? Was it because she was just another woman from the streets? Emma's story is often overshadowed by what came next, the first murder attributed to Jack the Ripper. Fast forward to August 31st, 1888. The body of Mary Ann Nichols, affectionately known as Polly, was discovered in Bucks Row. She lay there with her throat slashed and her abdomen mutilated. This gruesome scene marked a turning point. Suddenly, the press began to speculate about a serial killer on the loose. Can you imagine the fear that gripped London as they realized a monster was among them? The murders didn't stop with Mary Ann Nichols. Just days later, on September 8th, Annie Chapman became the second canonical victim. Her body was found in a backyard with similar brutal injuries. Then came Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes, both murdered on September 30th, during what is now referred to as the double event. Each victim had their throat cut and their bodies were mutilated in ways that suggested a deep-seated rage. What drove this man to commit such heinous acts? As fear spread across London, so did rumors and letters claiming to be from the killer himself. One infamous letter dated September 27th was signed Jack the Ripper. Initially dismissed as a hoax, it gave birth to a persona that has haunted our imaginations for over a century. Was this letter truly from the killer, or just an attempt by someone looking for attention? The last known victim was Mary Jane Kelly, murdered on November 9th, 1888. Unlike previous victims found outdoors, Mary's body was discovered inside her room, an act that raised questions about whether her murder was connected to the others. Imagine the horror as investigators walked into that scene. As investigations unfolded, numerous suspects emerged, from local butchers to even members of royalty like Prince Albert Victor. Each theory brought new intrigue, but also confusion. Among those suspected were Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant known for his violent tendencies, and Walter Sickert, an artist who some believe had knowledge of surgical procedures. With over 100 named suspects, how could anyone ever find out who Jack really was? Despite extensive investigations and countless theories over more than a century, Jack the Ripper's identity remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Why does this case continue to fascinate us? Is it because we crave answers in an unsolved puzzle? Or perhaps it's because we are drawn to stories that remind us of our darkest fears. As we conclude our journey through this chilling chapter in history, remember that Jack the Ripper isn't just a name. He represents our fascination with fear and mystery. A reminder that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Thank you for joining us today in uncovering this haunting tale. If you enjoyed this exploration into one of history's most infamous figures, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that delve into the shadows.